Shabbat Shalom. It's good to have you with us on this Friday night, this Friday, October 16th. We know that different people watch this at different times, but I do want to give you a heads up if you're watching this service later in the dark. Sorry, that we will be pausing when Shabbat starts tonight. So wherever we are in the service, I want to give you a heads up that we're going to be taking a break. That's something that we're doing with our confirmation class. We asked them this week, wherever they are, to stop at sunset and to take a moment and to be aware of the holiness of time, something that is in the Torah portion we will hear in just a little while when we read from Torah tonight, how God takes a piece of time and sanctifies it. And so a little later in the service, we will stop wherever we are, hopefully not in the middle of a note, try to play it out, plan for it, but we will stop where we are so that together we can stop and say, Shabbat is actually here at this moment. I hope you're well. I hope Shabbat brings you a chance for reflection, for virtual community. Perhaps there's somebody in your house or somebody you are, maybe you're quarantined with or you wave to from your house, someone where you can have a sense of community in these challenging times. But I need to remind us once again, I know you're sick of hearing it. Please be careful. Maybe you're always being careful, but for those of you like me who are going, it's kind of, see a few people in the temple courtyard, hang out a little, we'll keep our distance, we'll be okay, everybody's getting a little lax. We know the numbers are going up in Tarrant County, and I can tell you in my very unscientific study and poll that we've got a very significant number of calls in the last 24 hours, given the size of our congregation, of members who either have tested positive or actually have COVID. None of those cases seem to be very serious, but some of them are serious. And when I say many, at least 10 from different families who really don't socialize together. So that tells us, first, the good news is the temple didn't do it. I don't mean to make light of it, but it also tells us it's around this area. It's around people who are in this part of Fort Worth and Tarrant County. And while our concern is for everybody, please take this seriously. If you haven't been taking it seriously up till now, do me a favor and take it seriously the next couple of weeks. So even as we're beginning to talk about courtyard things and maybe pet events and meeting outside, we're going to be slowing down a little for the next couple of weeks. And I plead with you as well, go for walks, but go for walks with people you live with or alone and wear your masks. And please take care of yourself because you mean a lot to us. So we offer a prayer for all who are in need of healing. I know there are members who haven't given me permission to mention their names, so I don't want to break that privacy. But we add to those who are in need of healing, those who have given us permission, as well as all those who are in need of healing during these challenging times. And so we mention the names of Annette Dover, Charlotte Fiwas, Stacy Lewis, Roy Steinhagen, Maria Schoen, Elliot Blumberg, Katrina Joy Rogers, Eddie Sankery, Debbie Friedman, Claire Brunhill, Mike Fox, Ann Westerman, and William Westerman, Robert Bogan, Ellen Alcon, Christopher Long and Leslie Arnott, Karen Delavan, Lillian Deutsch, Kevin Delavan, Sherry Goldstein, Amy Stein, Felix Oshman, Arthur Gressman, Ariel Belikoff, Danielle Knust, David Kessinger, David Donshin, Jay Martin, Dee Steer, Henry Lockridge, Robert Diamond, Jeffrey Mark, Bob Schmitz, Judith Mann, John Stein, and Sonia Stein. They are in our prayers for healing, as well as all those we hope for that we may not be mentioning here. Page 371, we pray, O God, bring healing to all in need.
שברח אבותינו, אברהם, יצחק ויעקב. מי שברך אמותינו, שרה רבקה לאה ורחל. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer. our prayer and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Sheberach imotenu, sarariv kaleach verachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Amen.
As we turn to Shabbat candles, but before we light them, I want to make a tiny change here as I think about it, and just share with you a Shabbat thought, part one of a Shabbat thought. Part two will come later. Hopefully they'll both be equally same short amount. But I want to share a quick Shabbat thought. We'll be reading from the Torah in a few minutes. We'll be reading from the second chapter. Last week, as part of Simchat Torah, we ended and began the Torah with chapter 1. So this week we're going to read a little bit of chapter 2. Chapter 1 is so famous. Bereshit bara Elohim, the creation of the world and the 6 days of creation. That we often, or the two stories of Adam and Eve, or Adam and the other creation of woman, that we sort of sometimes skip the beginning of chapter 2, which has some wonderful lessons. So we'll read from chapter 2 in the Torah, and we will read a little bit about God's creating. We will learn that we are partners. When we read the first sentence in chapter 2 of Bereshit, of Genesis, one of the words you'll hear me say, V'hi baram, is a causative. And God caused these things to be created and happen. So we have God's sort of active motion in the world, but then we hear something else interesting, which is there were no fields, there were no crops, because there was no one yet created to attend to them. There wasn't a rain. So this second chapter of the Torah really makes it clear to us that in the chaos of the world, God needs us as partners, as God's agents for change. The first 6 days of the creation, we see that God takes tohu vavohu, which can really only be translated as just everything in chaos. Everything already exists, but it's not formed, right? So God doesn't create the form, God brings form to the stuff. All right? And God makes that order through the 6 days of creation, from tohu vavohu to order. And then suddenly in this week's Torah portion, there is a passage that makes up the longer blessing over wine. And in a minute, I'll show you the longer passage. So you might say, well, the Kiddush already seems long enough. You and John are up there singing and going. There's a longer Kiddush, a fuller Kiddush, blessing over wine, sanctifying the day. And that is from Genesis chapter 2, the first few verses. It becomes our longer Shabbat blessing over the day, which we make over wine, which says that God finished the work of creation, and God pauses and stops, sanctifies this moment in time, so that we can stop, so that God can understand what's happened. We are given the model that we are God's partners in bringing order out of the seemingly constant disorder. And we know at the end of the week, it feels like no matter how much we do, it's becoming undone quicker than we can do it. And then so we have this powerful message. One, God needs us as partners. But two, if we don't stop on the seventh day, Shavat vayinafash, pause and renew our souls, we can make the mistake of missing the bigger picture, of missing the order, of putting our energies in the wrong place, of contributing to chaos instead of contributing to the wholeness and the creation. And so Shabbat comes, That rest comes, and in addition to watching us here tonight, I hope you will take some extra time on what's going to be a weekend with some beautiful weather, whether it's reading or calling someone you keep telling yourself you should call, or considering where you're directing your energies. Maybe you're directing them here, but you realize suddenly that really your energies need to be here. You've missed this because you've done this. Whatever it is, whether it's focusing on our community and where it's broken and where it's whole, whether it's focusing on our families, what's broken and what's whole, whether it's noticing that maybe you put so much work into this thing here and you just can't fix this anymore. You got to let it play out. You got to put more attention here. We emulate God, first in being God's partners of creation, but then realizing that the most important day of creation is the day when God pauses to make holiness by stopping. Even though things are going to fall apart if you blink for a minute, we'll miss the big picture if we don't stop. And so we turn to page 120, and we prepare to light Shabbat candles, and we remember that Shabbat Vayinafash is an essential part of what we do as we prepare for Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner להדליק נר של Shabbat.
And as we turn to 122, a friendly reminder that you can just listen, but if you want to follow along, every Friday we send an e-blast. That e-blast has the link to the prayer book. You can go there and click on it. Prayer book pops up, and all you have to do is type in the page number at the bottom. So you can see on 122 what I will be reading from the Torah. This is part of what I will be reading, that the heaven and the earth were finished and all their array. And on the seventh day, God finished the work of creation that God had been doing. God ceased on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on the seventh day, God ceased from all the work that God had done. And we continue with the Kiddush on the next page.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kosho be'ahava uvratzon hinkilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit כי הוא יום תחילה למקרא הקודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מחדש השבת. אמן. לחיים.
L'chaim. And yes, the blessing over bread, whatever you've got at home, I hope it's wonderful. And we join together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Amen. We offer thanks to you, O God, for this Shabbat which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, and for Shabbat peace born of friendship and love. We offer thanks, O God, for each of these as we turn to Shalom Aleichem. O God, bring us a Shabbat of peace. 142.
מלאכי השרת, מלאכי השרת, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, הקדוש ברוך הוא. בואכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ברכוני לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, הקדוש ברוך הוא. צדקם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
O God, as we approach you now with the call of worship, let our desire be so strong that it will tear the veil that keeps you from our sight. In the noise of our world, let your light release our darkness. The Baruch Hu on 146.
Baruch Hu et Adonai,
Praised are you, God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv ha'ravim. Praise to you, Adonai, from whom the evening flows.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת, עמך על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו Israel. Amo Israel. Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
Page 155, you can join with me if you like. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are rested
or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of our vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God.
We turn to page 158 as we sing these words of freedom.
Mi chamocha pailim Adonai, mi chamocha nehedar bar chodesh, norata ilot osef eli, norata ilot osef eli. Malchutecha ra'ud anecha, bochei hayam, lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Adonai himloch leolam vaed. Adonai himloch leolam vaed. Adonai himloch leolam vaed.
Then it is said, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Baruch atah Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. As we prepare for Avot Imahot, as we turn to God, shutting out the noise. If you've got if we're not the ones on your TV, turning off the TV, or shutting other noises off, or turning inward. As we prepare for the Avot Imahot, we say, oh God, give us a place to rest. Bring us into your shelter. Shut out the noise. Give us that protection and safety, that acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth into this next week. Prepare for us as we return. Give us that shelter of love. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukkot shalom aleinu. V'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. Page 164, we begin together.
Adonai, sefatayv tiftachu v'yagi tahilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el hagedol, hagibor v'hanora, El Elyon, Gomel chazadim tovim, וקונה הכל, וצוחר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה רב להושיע. מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, זומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומעתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה לחי חיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהלוך הסלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Page 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. We'll take a couple of moments to allow some of Shabbat in, to look at some of these prayers on 170, 74, 78, anywhere in there, just to take a few moments or just to close your eyes and prepare for the official sunset with Shabbat is only moments away.
לשנות את מה שנתן שמות, ותן לי את החומה להבחין בזה לזה. אל נא רפן אליו, אל נא רפן אליו, אל נא רפן אליו, אל נא רפן אליו. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. God, grant me the courage to change the things that I can. And God, grant me the wisdom to know the difference. El narefan elah, el narefan elah, el narefan elah, el narefan elah.
composition is from Rabbi Or and Felicia Zohar.
Correct.
Thank you again for making it part of our worship. They are a couple. He's a rabbi. They're a couple that create music and work together in the Galilee at a number of different communities, doing work with the progressive movement, bringing joy and community to Israel. We had the pleasure of worshiping with them in January, a world ago, in Israel, and they are working on a new CD of their music, and we gave many of you who know them the opportunity to help them reach their fundraising goal, and they did, so that sometime in the next few months they will be coming out with a new CD of their beautiful, beautiful music. And so what a nice Shabbat treat. As we prepare to take the Torah out on 364, a reminder actually that I was going to do it next week, but I'm going to do it this week. If you have a birthday this month, or you want me to call out someone has a birthday, again, this doesn't really work if you're streaming later, but I know that you'll yell out their name. You can call me. No, text me. Don't call me. I'm not going to pick up if you call me. 214-762-7856. Feels like a telethon, but it's a telethon for birthday blessings. 214-762-7856. You can, in the next 5 minutes, say, hey, it is someone's birthday. I can tell you it's my daughter's birthday this month, and I am infinitely, indescribably proud of her. Her birthday was a couple weeks ago. She turned 18. She is driving, but in fairness, she's driving better than I ever did, but still, she's driving. So I want to wish Molly, light of my life, a happy birthday. And it's not a birthday, but my uncle's having his anniversary in a couple weeks. So I want to mention that. I think they closed the border, so I can't get to Toronto to congratulate him. Sorry, maybe too soon. But Aubrey and Trish, I want to wish you a happy anniversary. If you've got an anniversary or a birthday, you've got like 4 more minutes to send me those names. We're going to take out the Torah, page 364. To Sinai to now, we put ourselves within these stories and we see the path to a fuller, more sacred life.
Roma shemo yachda lecha Adonai.
checking not only for birthday blessings, but also the time. And you'll know why in 2 minutes. I think we can pull this off.
Okay.
All right, page 368. If you wish to join with me, and wherever you are, and if you know the blessing, you've got a birthday coming up, join with me wherever you are. The blessing over the reading of Torah.
Baruch et Adonai hamvorach, Baruch Adonai hamorach le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher baruch banu mikol hamim, Anata lanu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Time out the Torah, but I think we're where I thought we'd be. Here we are. I am lifting up the Torah. You can see it. This is this week's Torah portion. And you can see that it is just the second column. We are just at the very beginning of the Torah. Here we go. And you can see that I am reading. You can see where it begins. And here we go. Vayachulu hashamayim va'aretz v'chol tzva'am. And God concluded the work of heaven and earth and all of its things. Often an old translation is hosts. Vayachal Elohim bayom ha'ashvi'i malakto asher asah. And God paused, really ended on that day, on the seventh day, all of the work that God had done, all the malacha. Vayishbot bayom ha'ashvi'i. And Shabbated. I'm going to make up a new verb. God paused, rested, but I would say Shabbated on the seventh day, Mikol Malakto, from all of God's work, Asher Asa, that God had done. Vayavarech Elohim et Yom HaShvi'i, Vayikadshehu. And this is interesting. God blessed the seventh day and made it sanctified. Same root as Kiddush, right? Or the Kaddish. To make holy, Oto, this day, Kivo Shavat Mikol Malakto, for this day is a Shabbat from all Melech, all work. Asher Bara Elohim Lasso. Is that it? Is that a little bellman?
That's what that meant, yes.
Okay, it is 6:54. Give me one more second. Ela Toldot Hashamayim Ba'aretz V'hibar Am B'yom Asa Adonai Elohim Eretz V'shamayim. And in all of the creation that God, had caused to be done, in the heavens and the earth, v'chol siach hasadeh, terem yeh ba'eretz, v'chol eshev hasadeh terem yitzmach ki lo himtir Adonai Elohim al haaretz, v'adam in la'avod et hadama. And I'm going to pause for a moment because I will tell you what that means in a moment. Who knew? The only thing that I couldn't stop in the middle of is this. So I want you to join with me and say, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. As we speak, the sun is officially setting in Fort Worth. And I want you to take a moment before we continue, 30 seconds of silence, and make this time sanctified. Let us sanctify Shabbat. It is beginning right now.
Shamaru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam brit olam beni uvein b'nei Yisrael Shabbat, Nedorotam, Ritolam, Isheshet Yamim, Asadonai, Et Hashamayim, Ve'et Haaretz, V'shamaru V'nei Yisrael, Et HaShabbat, Asot Et HaShabbat, Ledorotam, Ritolam, Hayom Hashvi'i Shabbat, Shabbat, Vayinafash, V'shamaru V'nei Yisrael, Et HaShabbat, Asot Et HaShabbat, Ledorotam, Ritolam,
Amen.
That was beautiful. Thank you. So I know that was a little unconventional, but not your song. That was beautiful. But we thought it would be great to stop. We thought whatever we're doing, we can drop in the middle.
That's right.
At the minute that sunset occurs, no matter how hard I tried to stretch a few things, it was exactly in the middle of reading the Aliyah of the Torah, and I wanted to finish that. So yes, the end, which I didn't get to translate you, is basically the idea that the fields had not been plowed, that nothing had been created because God had not yet created us to do the work. And so the connection is made very clearly in those final two lines. God, Shabbat Vayinafash, and now we've been created to do the work, but now we also need to Shabbat Vayinafash. And that's what that paragraph makes very clear there. While we're on that, one of the reasons I thought it'd be fun to do it this week is because we have 2 more weeks, and then when services start, the clocks will have been rolled back, and it will already be Shabbat. So when we get here, we'll miss that moment. So I thought it'd be nice to welcome Shabbat together. As we prepare to put the Torah back to the ark, we want to say one of the things we've noticed is that a lot of people join us, but they all join us later at night, which is wonderful. Or in the morning, that's great. That means they're going to see this later and know they could have told me it was their birthday. So know that wherever you are in our birthday wishes. May God watch over you and keep you strong and healthy. May this year be a year of new opportunities and new adventures. May we be careful. May we be safe so that soon again we will be able to celebrate not only virtually but in person with our family. We'll be able to blow out those candles again, infect our friends, have a good laugh. May this day come. Maybe we'll never do that again, but may that day come speedily, and we ask God's blessing upon you. Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmarecha. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Wherever you are watching, if you have a birthday and anniversary in this upcoming time, may God keep you safe. May you feel God's presence. May it comfort you and give you the courage to embrace the opportunities and challenges of the next year. And may you have fullness and peace. Amen.
Amen.
We return the Torah to the ark.
V'tzot ha'Torah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael. Ari Adonai v'yad Moshe.
Hold the Torah as a tree of life to all who hold it fast. Its ways are ways of pleasantness. All its paths are peace. Turn to page 586. Our service continues with Elena. Turn to page 598. Before we join in the words of the mourner's Kaddish, last Saturday, John and I gathered, just the two of us gathered in the sukkah for not only Simchat Torah, which we shared remotely with many of you, but also for Yizkor, which takes place at the end of Sukkot and at Shavuot and Passover. And there we were called out loud the names of all those from our congregation who had passed in the last year. Even if you were not with us there, know that we called out their names. Know that our prayers are with you for strength and healing. We know this first year of memory over the passing of a loved one is made harder in the solitude of this time. And so we mention again, because some of you could not be with us last Saturday morning, for those of you who couldn't be with us for our Yizkor service, we mention the names of those who passed away in this past year, and we mention the names of James Bresser and Bernice Etkoff, Jack Garrick, Burton Gilbert, Michael Goldman, Julian Haber, David Ingram, Harriet Lurie, Ellen Mack, Bernice Sandler, Jerry Lynn Stearns, Pauline Wittenberg, Richard Yentis. Remember that our Yizkor book is available online under Book of Remembrance on our website. In addition, and also if you did miss Yizkor and forgot that it takes place during Simchat Torah, we'll remind you that it happens again at Passover and again at Shavuot, so you'll have a chance during this year of mourning for a parent or a spouse or a sibling if you're observing that. We mention also the names of those who have passed away in this 30-day period of mourning known as Shloshim. We mention the names of James Robert Cunin, brother of Edith Cohen, Graham Baker, husband of Antoinette Baker, Carol Tubin, sister-in-law of Jim Stanton, Phyllis Siegel, grandmother of Rachel Hunt, Libby Berger, mother of Lauren McCormick and Jackie Brown, Madeline Hayden, sister of Evelyn Siegel, who will be laid to rest in the coming days. Judith Mann, sister of Terry Mann. And we mention the names, the yahrzeits, the anniversaries of their deaths of Pierre Azarad, Abram Bodzi, Rabbi Abraham J. Brackman, Leo Butterman, Milton Butterman, Bessie Brown Carb, Charles Etkoff, David Field, Ruth M. Friedman, Harold Frolkis, Solomon Greiver, Albert D. Guggenheim, Robert C. Gurney, A. Haller, Maurice Hostein, Rose Honigfeld, Jennifer James, Gertrude Kotler, Tom Crackover, Gus S. Landman, Gloria Letterman, Ben Levy, Mabel Saperstone Levy, Estelle Masters, Jerome W. Mecklenburger, Bernice Meyerson, Brutus Meyerson, Ethel Collins Oshman, Antoinette Pollock, Dr. Edwin J. Schwartz, David Stensler, and any other names you may be remembering. Know that our prayers are with you as we turn to 598, the Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgada Shemei Rabbah. V'yalmal divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei jechol Beit Yisrael. B'galal v'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevarach leolam ulomei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitala Shmei d'kudsha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechmata damiram b'yalma v'imru amen. Yehi Shlama Rabbah min Shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichronam l'racha, may their memories be for blessing. May their memories inspire each of us who engage in this act of remembering. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
Before we join in our closing song, as always, thank you, John. Thank you, Hans. And thank you this week to Carl, who is in the back streaming, and that's us. Us in this building. We extend things. I've noticed there are a lot of celebrations that are extended to cheer us up during this challenging time. We know that food festivals, drive-thrus, the Hatch Fest, all kinds of things. So I made a decision that this year Jewish Ghost Story Shabbat will last 2 weeks.
Excellent.
I don't know if anyone else was looking forward to that. Well, but I was, and it's important to keep the rabbi cheered up during these challenging times. So while everybody else is focusing on the election, know that we turn to our fears, our superstitions, to cheer us up, right? Ghost stories always function that way during challenging times. So during the final 2 weeks of the election, it will either cheer you up and excite you or depress you to know that I will not be speaking about the election. We will be sharing Jewish ghost stories. Next week, we'll be sharing more humorous ones. The following week, we'll be sharing spookier ones. Most of these are real Jewish ghost stories, not just things that I, a Jewish rabbi, made up, but actual Jewish ghost stories that can be traced back hundreds of years. So join us in the next 2 weeks. Just wanted to give a shout out to that because I know you were waiting for Jewish Ghost Story Shabbat eagerly. We'll see if there are any spookier with just 4 of us alone in the building. I want to shift a little clumsily to one final message before our closing song. Of course, the first message is be safe, take care of yourselves, be careful out there, as we say. The second is, as we think about Shabbat and this Torah portion, which asks us to pause from creating, pause from turning tohu vavohu, unformed craziness, into order, which is something we do. We do it with our lives, and in fact, part of the struggle now is we are so helpless in the process of trying to bring order. There's only so much we can do, and we know that is frustrating and challenging. But I do want to share a more immediate and pertinent message about perspective. May this Shabbat be a time where we pause, where we look at the noise and chaos not only of the world, but of our country, and we're able to rest and then regroup and prioritize. Like me, you may be aware that rarely a few seconds go by. If you are watching commercial TV, the airways are saturated with political commercials. If you're on the internet, whatever you're pulling up anywhere, if you ever gave anyone a penny, you will notice that you are getting hundreds of emails every second to give to campaigns. It is inspiring to see that members of our community, members of our country are involved in the work of putting their vote to action. The democratic process, it can be very, very inspiring, but I am going to go counter to what you might hear from some other rabbis. It's enough. It is enough. The only thing left for you to do is vote. And if you have a friend who somehow miraculously, unbelievably does not have an opinion, go and try to convince them in a nice way. But that's it. I am going to go counterculture here and say that all these races have enough money. That is my nonpartisan speech that will make me enemies of liberals and conservatives alike. Maybe the libertarians will be excited. But this message is going to bother them all. But I'm going to tell you that the senatorial and presidential and other campaigns have raised millions and billions, and the ads are nonstop, and our airwaves and computers are saturated. They don't need any more billions. I'm glad they raised money. I'm glad democracy is in action. They don't need any more. With 2.5 weeks left, who needs more than $500 million or $1 billion? Who needs that? There's not 500 billion, but there's several billion. Who needs more? They don't. They've bought enough commercial time. So take a moment on this Shabbat to pause from the chaos, to take a rest, and to ask yourself with every new request in money, who really needs the next 36 or 72 or $100? And if you're not sure, I can tell you that there are starving people around this country. And as important as this work is, all that's left for you is to vote. And voting is still free. So what you can do every time you're about to hit the send button for another contribution is think about the North Tarrant County Food Bank, or the Center for Transforming Lives, or Mazon, a Jewish response to hunger, or Feeding America, or any organization that is close to your heart, and give them that money. Help bring life to them, because they need it, and they will need it regardless of who wins the next election. It won't put food on their plates right away. So give to them and help to bring some life to families in need. And with that note, our closing song, If Not Now When, a call to action.
If I don't stand up for myself, then who will stand for me? If I don't know me, who's gonna show me? And if I don't stand up for another, who is my brother? How can I hold my head up high? לעצמי מעני, ואם לא עכשיו אימתי, אם לא עכשיו אימתי, אם אני לי מילי, וכשאני לעצמי מעני, ואם לא עכשיו אימתי, אם לא עכשיו אימתי. I've got your back if trouble should find you. I will remind you that I'm behind you. And would you please watch out for me if I go astray now, and make it okay now. Show me the way. Mili, עכשיו אימתי, אם לא עכשיו אימתי, אם אני לי מי לי, וכשאני לעצמי צמא אני, ואם לא עכשיו אימתי, אם לא עכשיו אימתי. Might never come again. Oh, 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 אם אני מילי, וכשאני לעצמי צמא אני, ואם לא עכשיו אימתי, אם לא עכשיו אימתי, אם אני לי מילי, וכשאני לעצמי צמא אני, ואם לא עכשיו אימתי, אם לא עכשיו אימתי, אם אני לי מילי, וכשאני לעצמי צמא אני, ואם לא עכשיו אימתי, אם לא עכשיו אימתי, אם אני לי מילי, וכשאני לעצמי צמא אני, ואם לא עכשיו אימתי, אם לא עכשיו אימתי.
Adonai Shemor Seitecha Vayocha Me'ata V'ad Olam. May God guard your coming and going and keep you safe until we are together again. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.